Hey, everyone. Welcome to a special bonus Locked On Lakers. Brian Kamenetsky, Andy Kamenetsky. Andy, the Lakers have their man. He is Darvin Ham, just as we predicted. Did we speak it into existence? That's next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes, Andy, on weekends in an emergency podcast situations. Never behind a paywall, always giving you fresh Lakers content. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you can go to get the stuff as fast as it can come out. Woj reporting, Shams reporting, the Lakers have a 4-year deal ready to go for Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham wins the sweepstakes. Can't honestly say I'm very surprised by it, and ultimately, Andy, I am pleased.
Well, first of all, you can't say you're surprised because you and I in the regular show for Friday both predicted that they would hire Darvin Ham. So It would be very disingenuous for us to feign shock or anything like that. But yeah, as somebody who has, ever since he's been linked to this team, really been high on the idea of hiring Darvin Ham. He was somebody that when the Lakers were looking to hire Frank Vogel, and we were writing for The Athletic and throwing out a bunch of different suggestions, I can't remember if I specifically wrote about Darvin Ham or not, but I know he was somebody that I was thinking about, it'd be interesting to see if he got an interview, especially since you knew he had been actually on the staff 5 years before that. So it's cool to see, first of all, just somebody who really has put in the work for a long time and somebody that has been thought of as, hey, he deserves a shot. Let's see what Darvin Ham can do. It's nice to see that get paid off because sometimes it never happens.
Yeah, and the reaction from LeBron, we noted that LeBron all week, really, we noted that LeBron was reportedly a fan of Darvin Ham and supported the idea of hiring Ham. And he sent out a tweet, so damn excited with, I'm counting here, 7 exclamation points. Congrats and welcome, Coach.
It's actually
D.
more, Brian. I think it's 9.
No, I got 2. It's 2 sets. Wait, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It might be 8. Congrats and welcome, Coach D. Ham, with 2 more there, plus 5 clapping hands. Hashtag Lake Show, Lakers emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji. So that's good.
Yeah, it was funny, and I don't want to read too much in this one way or the other, because remember when the Lakers eventually went to hire Frank Vogel, it had been an absolute bleep show on a lot of levels leading up to the bleep show coaching search. Mm-hmm. And they ultimately lowballed Ty Lue, we both think intentionally, to get him to turn down the offer because they didn't want to hire him. So it's not necessarily shocking if LeBron's online outward reaction was muted. He did go to Frank Vogel's press conference, but I did a search and I could not find anything with him on social reacting to Vogel. It's cool to see LeBron, if nothing else, put that out there with that type of enthusiasm, because you want to try to see this thing get rolling. And while you don't expect LeBron to trash the hire, it does seem like he was pretty into this.
Yeah, and that is not the reason to hire Ham.
LeBron tweets out, WTF, man. Clown show. Like 11 clown emojis.
You don't make the hire because LeBron supports him, but you appreciate the fact that he does. And I don't see this as LeBron running the franchise. I actually think you get a better, more more engaged, more coachable, more flexible LeBron when you have a coach that he's enthusiastic about and that he respects. And I don't mean to. That's not a shot at like Vogel or anything, but of the 3 guys, he's the guy that reportedly he was highest on LeBron with Darvin Ham. Giannis Antetokounmpo told ESPN, quote, he's the right fit for them. He keeps it real with you. No BS at all. It's about damn time. He deserves it more than anyone. And, you talked about, Andy, the idea that Ham is somebody who has been seen as having earned this opportunity, having paid his dues. And there's a really important aspect of that, because part of the reporting here too is that the Lakers are expected to both hire Ham with the 4-year contract, but also that he would be surrounded with some former NBA head coaches, which makes some sense. That he is a very well-respected assistant, that he is a guy who everyone, from players to coaches to executives down the line, all
To
believe
former
in.
teammates. He played in the league. He was part of the
Yes.
2004 Pistons team that beat the Lakers in the finals.
There are photos of Darvin and LeBron playing against each other that have been flying around Twitter all
tweet.
Friday.
Great tweet from our friend Justin Tinsley at ESPN. He also, by the way, has a book out about Biggie that is supposed to be unreal. I know he's worked on this for a long time, so go get it. But he tweeted out at Justin Tinsley, Bron's been in the league so long, he's played against 2 of his head coaches, Lou and Ham, won a title with one coach he previously beat, Vogel, won rings against Spoelstra, lost a title against J Kidd, then won a title with him and lost a title against a former coach, Mike Brown. That's nuts, man.
And it puts it like, when we were talking the other day about LeBron and third team all NBA and some of the difficult contextual decisions it puts the Lakers in, like the stuff they have to do, like that kind of number does really drive home how incredible it is that to have a guy put you in that position to be in the third team after this much time in the NBA. So to finish what I was getting at, he will be able to assemble a really good staff. Not every first year coach can do that, can pull really effectively from different staffs, even for a high profile team like the Lakers, whereas Jason Kidd saw, you can rehabilitate your career and suddenly find yourself in a really good head coaching position. I don't anticipate Ham, assuming the Lakers will put the money out, I don't anticipate Ham will have trouble filling out a quality coaching staff.
Yeah, we talked with Kane Pittman from Locked On Bucks earlier in this week, and he had mentioned that Darvin Ham's responsibilities, at least of late with the Bucks, had been scouting and development, and he also considered him more of a defensive coach than an offensive guy. So certainly he's going to need a lead high up that really is known on the offensive side of things. Ironically, could be Terry Stotts. If Terry Stotts was willing to be an assistant, someone like him.
He said no. The reporting around that is that he did say he was not interested if he doesn't, but that could
change if Charlotte doesn't hire him.
It could change if Charlotte doesn't hire him. It could also change now that he didn't get the job. I mean, like, you don't say I'll take the consolation prize beforehand.
Right.
But you might do it afterwards.
Somebody like Terry Stotts could be really valuable on this staff, or another offensive guy who's been in the league a long time, whether he's been a head coach before, an assistant before. You want to try to buff out the staff like that. But I agree with you. He's in a position where he could really put together, I should say, the type of people that he needs around him, because I would think that for a first-year guy, he wouldn't be considered dicey to hit your wagon to.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. The other thing that I think is significant here is that Ham reportedly will receive a 4-year contract, which tells me both the Lakers were sensitive to the competition from Charlotte, where Ham was seen as a if not a front runner there, certainly a very strong candidate for that job. And, we've talked about at length at how they didn't necessarily go out of their way to support Frank Vogel in things like contract length and those types of things that they really do matter.
Yeah.
And to come out of the gate with 4 years for Ham, I don't know the number in terms of money. And I'm sure it's not $8 million a year. It's not one of those deals, but the 4 years for Darvin Ham is a very important commitment, because that takes them through presumably at least the LeBron section. Like, you don't anticipate him playing 4 or 5 more years. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, but it certainly could take them past that and gives him some security for a potential post LeBron, maybe even post Anthony Davis, depending on where they go, future with this team. I think that is a significant development. I put out the joke, angry Frank Vogel hearing that he got 4 years, but the reality is it shows that they may have learned a lesson with that last set of coaching interviews and that process, and they did make the same mistake again.
Look, man, it was insulting to Ty Lue and presumably to Monty Williams, and never got far enough to know what the exact offers would have been, and to Frank Vogel, that they had given Luke Walton, who was less experienced than any of those guys, and in the case of Ty Lue, Ty had actually won a championship. It was insulting that they gave those guys shorter offers than they had given to Luke Walton. And like you said, they have to learn those type of lessons, even if their mentality is one that still doesn't value coaching the way other organizations may around the league. And who knows if that's shifted. But either way, if you want to get somebody that, if nothing else, will make your star player in LeBron and presumably AD happy, so you can try to get the most out of the investment that you have right now and try to make this thing go as smooth as possible, sometimes you have to pay for the things that you may not value the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's the cost of doing business.
Right. And, the Lakers have had,
but to their credit, this process actually seemed like it was pretty well run.
Exactly where I was going. Like, they have had major process problems over the last decade, basically, almost uninterrupted, even during the good times. The processes have not always been very good. This was done right. This was the right people in the room based on who works in the organization. This was getting together a good list in a deliberate but not too deliberate way. This was going out and getting, it's hard. He's not a marquee name. He's not obviously the best name out there, but a very attractive candidate.
There wasn't a marquee name available.
Correct. Absolutely not. And it is a candidate that they wanted and that they knew they had a little bit of competition on, and they didn't screw around with it. And they got the guy that they wanted. They offered a reasonable NBA contract in terms of the years. And I think they've done well. And, Lakers fans have every right to be, suspicious isn't the right word, but skeptical, I think is a better, cynical and skeptical about the direction this team is being going in. There's still a bleep ton of work to do to get Ham a roster that he can actually work with, that anybody could work with. But they did this right. And they deserve credit for doing it right.
Yeah, and it's for all the talk about, reaching out to Phil, reaching out to Magic, and you and I have both acknowledged that you could argue this stuff is on its best day kind of darkly funny, on its worst day it makes you wonder, like, seriously, can you ever seek out perspective from people beyond this very small circle? It doesn't seem like those guys got in the way of anything. So again, you and I are very open with criticism when we think it's warranted, but we always want to make sure that we're fair and that we're not criticizing just for the sake of throwing bombs or whatever. But
we'll tell cheap jokes for the sake of a punchline.
Right, but
that's different.
We're not
it's not the
above low-hanging fruit, man. I mean, we're doing this 5 days a week during the off season.
No, I mean, we got to
come on.
It's not funny. Trump's mean.
Well,
funny Trump's accurate.
We work for real. We work very hard, and I think people have appreciated this, to try to work from the top of our intelligence as much as we can, and really try to go about things sincerely and hopefully smart, and we try to find unique perspectives. But occasionally, man, you just got to grab the low-hanging fruit because it's easy.
Yeah, that's why it's there. All right. So obviously, a lot more will come out. I imagine the Lakers will be relatively quiet over a holiday weekend. Certainly, no introductory press conferences or anything like that until next week. But we'll start to see more. We'll see more reaction from players. We'll see more reaction from people around the league, certainly from fans. We'd love to get your thoughts on the hiring of Darvin Ham. It is not unexpected. But it's good news. I think the Lakers did well, and we'll see if they can give them a team going forward. That is the next step. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you go to subscribe to get all this stuff early. We'll keep putting updates as news breaks. We will post it there. And before we go, Andy, just one more thing that we need to say.
Yes, this is the most important thing of all. Locked On Lakers brought to you by Built Bar. And okay, we expected Darvin Ham, but this is something I did not expect. I didn't even know
ham-flavored Built Bar?
No, no, actually, I would have called the folks over there and said, guys, we love creative. You're trying too hard. Built granola bars, though.
No, I would try it.
Yeah, because you're an idiot. Built granola bars are here. 3 great flavors: chocolate peanut butter, chocolate coconut, white chocolate berry. You get all 3 flavors if you want to try them all out with a mix box at built.com. Just like the puffs and like the bars, it's a different, obviously, chewiness, different crunch. You got the granola in there, but they're still packed with the protein that you want, the collagen protein specifically, which your body absorbs better. You still get the 100% real chocolate and only 150 calories, only 4 grams of sugar, but 15 grams of protein. Mm-hmm. That's the good stuff. It's the
and
perfect...
they may taste like ham.
Brian, they don't taste like ham. It's very important to stress that they don't. Go to built.com, use the promo code LOCK15, get 15% off your order. Again, promo code LOCK15, 15% off at built.com.
Ham bars.